I'm Tracy Radley, holistic healer, life mentor, and today I'm doing another one of those unexpected videos for you, showing me in a vulnerable state. So the past few days I've been dealing with triggers of self-worth, which have been coming up, which somewhat of a surprise, but also not on another level. Like, I've been aware that there's still some like triggers there that I'm needing, and belief systems that I'm needing to change. So the last couple of days, a few of those have been coming up, and it's good that I'm aware of them, but I still have to go through the process of making the changes within myself. And a lot of these beliefs sit quite deep within the system and the subconscious, and it can take a little bit to break those patterns, and it can affect you physically, mentally, and emotionally. So normally I would be doing a live light language healing activation for you right now, and I haven't felt to do it live today. So I will be posting a recording for you that I have actually done already prior to today. And instead I've been guided to be vulnerable and show you, that everybody's going through changes, and it affects us all differently. The triggers are different, and it all still comes down to the level that we appreciate ourselves, the level that we respect ourselves, the ability for us to stand in our power and stand strong. And we all have cycles, we all have the patterns, whether we're aware of them or not, that do hold us back. And I'm quite lucky that I see my patterns, and I see where there's different areas that I still need to work through. I still have my onion layers like everybody else. And today it's just sharing with you basically how I'm dealing with what's coming up for me. So number one, I'm aware of it, so that definitely is a big help, because I can see what's happening, and I can see where it's come from and why it's sitting there, and I can see for myself that it's an untruth. But what's also happened, it's brought up for me some feelings of anger, not towards other people, but a little bit towards myself, which I can recognize, and again, I know it's not true, but it's still moving through my system. And my body's been feeling quite exhausted and tired. The last 2 days I've had some tears come. Today I needed a nap, so I had a nap. I had some acupuncture today as a gentle way of helping me release and realign, because what I've found is that it's when these things are happening and I'm aware that it's happening, I have to love myself more. So the best thing that I've been able to do is be gentle on myself, when the angers come up of myself, for still having these things and still having those triggers come up, is most of the time it doesn't come in a form of anger. It's just an acceptance. It's like, okay, we'll move through it. But for these little ones have been a little bit deeper, so there has been a few moments of that, and I've had some tears, like I said, to help with that releasing process, and that's been fine. I've accepted that. Because it feels like sometimes the weight's lifted, but because it's a clearing energetic process, it can also make you, like I said, tired, physically, emotionally tired and drained. You can also feel a little bit more vulnerable, and that's okay. And that's where we really have to step up and say, I'm progressing, I'm moving, and whatever's happening for me now is perfect for right now. It's change, I'm creating a change, and keep that positive aspect, even while you physically, mentally, and emotionally could be struggling on some levels. You've just got to kind of hold that higher perspective, going, okay, this is happening for a reason, and it's a good reason. That I'm transitioning. I'm going to have, say, a breakthrough on the other end of it, and the weight's going to get lifted, and that's how I get through. I have to remind myself when these things are happening, it is actually of benefit for me. Anything that I'm feeling that is maybe negative or seen as negative is actually a positive if I choose to look at it that way, because it's an opportunity for me to grow. It's an opportunity to see a different aspect of myself or life, or a chance to step into that higher perspective and see exactly what's going on for me. And that's the only way that you're going to grow, is through being able to do that. We love it when everything's wonderful, but everything's not always wonderful. We have our pushes and our triggers and our buttons that are going to, you know, give us the opportunity to drop down, or they give us the ability to expand. And eventually we do all expand. It's just how deep we're going to let ourselves go. And even if we go deep and we go down, you're still finding those blessings, because you're still going to work your way back up. And I know, because I've been there myself a couple of times, quite low. But there's always been that light at the end of the tunnel, and again, having that awareness of, okay, I see why this is happening. I see my foundations are breaking. I see that, you know, ego is like, I guess in a way, dying. The not beneficial parts of it, the limiting parts of it have been disintegrating. And, you know, I've been setting my own new foundation based on truth, on my truth, not what other people are telling me, but on my experience. So, you know, I've heard from a lot of people, especially recently, you know, how things are a little bit tough. You know, we are getting pushed more to make the changes. We're getting pushed out of the comfort zone, and it can be confusing. And, you know, you can't always make the clear decisions when you're in a space that's, you know, a little bit scattered, a little bit scary. So it's doing the nurturing things that you can for yourself, because the more you can nurture yourself through those times, the quicker you can get into that space of alignment again, and then you get your clarity, and then you can take, you know, you can make decisions easier. So as a tip for you, don't make decisions, if you can help it, during the times when, you know, you're in a state of stress or physical struggle and challenges, because you're not in a space of alignment and you're not getting clear messages. So if there's decisions to be made, hold off if you can. Wait until you can, you know, start feeling better within yourself, because then you get your clarity while you're in the muck of change, while the energies are all kind of moving around and you're making shifts. It's not possible to get clear answers. So for me, I also have some, you know, decisions to be making, but I definitely know from my experience not to do them at this point in time, because I've seen the outcomes, and I've seen the somewhat messes I've made by, you know, forcing myself into things and pushing it to make it happen, and then go, oh my God, why didn't I just wait that little bit longer? Why didn't I wait till that clarity was there? Because now I have a bit more of a mess that I have to kind of move back from. Like, it's been some really big challenges on that way, but, you know, I've made it through, and, you know, I don't regret doing those things, because I've definitely learnt from them. So that makes it easier for me now to go, okay, so for these last few days, I haven't been making the big decisions. I have been, like I said, doing the best that I can to look after myself, and, you know, do what I can to look after my body, especially because my body is feeling a lot of changes right now. I can feel the restructuring going on, like on the energetic level, but it's also, I can feel the changes on my inside as well. And, you know, we are getting physical symptoms. Lots of people have been mentioning physical symptoms coming up. So you really, really have to start to take this time to love yourself, like every aspect of yourself. So if you can get outside, do it. If you can listen to relaxing music, do it. If you can, you know, take a relaxing bath, put some Epsom salt, use some oils. Today I even bought like rose petals and different things to put in the house that I'm currently staying in, and having the aroma there to help also lift me. It's been listening to some positive music, or just gentle music, going slowly. Like, yes, I've got things on my to-do list, but I'll get to them when I get to them, because, you know, you've got to acknowledge that your health and well-being has to come first. Because if you're pushing through those other tasks, one, they're not going to feel comfortable to do, and two, you're not putting the right energy into it to make it, you know, as successful and as smooth running as they could be. So like I said, if there's things you can hold off on while, you know, you're going through different stages like of change, then, you know, do your best to, you know, kind of let go of the control of the to-do list as well, because it does add extra pressure, and the results are not necessarily going to be as beneficial as you would like them to be, as if you were doing them from an aligned, you know, clear space. Like I said, I didn't really plan to do any videos. As you can tell, I've made no effort. This is me raw. I'm looking quite tired because my body is very exhausted. I'm pretty sure for those that, you know, are quite in tune can see my energy levels are quite low. My aura is probably a little bit all mixed up at the moment. But I've been told, you know, to show this video and to show that, you know, I'm like everybody else, even though I'm very aware, and I can do a lot of things on the spiritual aspects. I've still got my, like I said, my onion layers to go through. So it's just learning the mastery of how to make the changes easier, how to be, I guess, aware that the self-love and self-nurturing is such an important component of these changes that are taking place, because you have to love you, because nobody else is going to be able to do it and fulfill any needs that you think you have except for you. And you've got to bring yourself back into alignment, and you've got to find your own ways and your own tools to do that. So for me, after this video, once I've posted it up, you know, I'll be making a small but healthy dinner, and chances are I'll be in bed like within the next hour. Maybe I'll even take a bath, who knows. But I'm definitely not going to be forcing myself to do anything. I don't have the physical energy to do it. So again, from experience, I know don't push it, because it's actually not helping myself, it's not helping anybody else. So I'm doing what I know how to do to bring myself into alignment, to bring myself back into balance, so that I'm sending out the better vibe for everybody else. And if I'm pushing to do things, I'm sending out, you know, maybe frustration vibes along with what I'm already experiencing, and I'm making myself more exhausted in the process, and seriously, it's just not worth it. I used to do that before, and not anymore. Like, it's been a journey to be able to really embrace looking after myself better and not worrying about everybody else coming first, which has been part of the self-worth stuff, you know, being there for other people but not necessarily having it returned, and then really, you know, looking and going, well, I don't need it from anybody else, it does come from the inside. However, the ego is the one that's been struggling with that, and so, you know, that's a pattern that's changing within me. It's like, okay, I know it's all within, even though I have my moments where I'm looking without, like we all do. It's like, okay, but not anymore, it's not necessary. You know this from the higher perspective, Tracy, you know this. So this is just a pattern that's come up for you, you know, it's clear as day. So now is the time to, you know, really, you know, drop that pattern, drop that behavior, drop those thoughts, drop that belief. And that's, you know, very strong with me right now. Like I said, and while that's releasing, I'm feeling it on all levels. But like I said, I'm very lucky I have the awareness that is taking place. So whatever it is that you're currently going through or will come up and go through, like while you're going through different changes, different scenarios, different triggers, the number one thing to do is know it's not going to last, any of the symptoms, because everything's impermanent and it will change. Also, do your best not to like attach to it and put too much focus on what it is that's happening, because that can keep it longer. And also, like I said, self-love. Love yourself during the process, whatever it is. Whatever emotions come up, even if it is frustration and anger and things like this, if you're crying, if you're emotional, it's okay. Just don't keep yourself in there. Like, you don't have to block yourself from letting it come up and out. But don't delve into it and make the drama with it either. Just allow the process to clear, allow yourself to come back into alignment, and do it in the most gentlest way that is possible for you in whatever your situation is. So I am sending lots of love to you. Like I said, I'm feeling it in myself, so I know there's a lot of other people out there that will watch this that will be feeling, you know, similar emotions. It's different situations and triggers, but you know, we all have the same feelings. So I'm sending you a lot of love, and just know that you will be fine. Just ride your wave, do what you need to do to feel good for yourself, and by doing that, you're going to help those around you anyway, because the higher the vibe that you hold, the higher that frequency is you're able to help, you know, other people lift up to. So again, lots of love, big hugs. If you've got any questions or you need any support while you're going through your transition processes, just let me know. If you've got specific topics or anything that you want addressed, feel free to pop them in the comments below, and I can address these things. So, you know, there are processes that I use myself to help me through this process as well. You know, most of the time I am, you know, flying high and clear and clarity, and obviously, like I said, things come up. We can't avoid them, but it's having the tools in place and the awareness and understanding to help you through it easier. So the old me right now would have been probably in a crying mess, feeling sorry for myself, probably calling all my friends saying, this has happened and this has happened and this has happened, which is really not helpful at all, but that's how I used to cope. That was my way to do it, and it would take months potentially for some of these things to shift. Whereas like now it's like, well, okay, I see what it is. I know what's happening. I understand what's happening. I have to make the conscious choice. I have to make that change. My change is not to go through that behavior. So, and as a result, you know, I'm going to have some internal shifts and a little bit of uncomfortable feelings, and, you know, maybe some emotions will come up because I'm not dealing with it in a way that I used to do, the old pattern. And, you know, so that level of uncomfortableness is not obviously that pleasant. However, you know, I see this as the beneficial way. So regardless of all this other stuff that's coming up, it's like, I know I'm going to be fine and better off at the end. So if you need support in, you know, finding the tools or the confidence to be able to move through the shifts like I am, then, you know, just let me know and I can share some information with you, like in more depth. Or if you want some one-on-one stuff, you can always contact me. And I obviously, unless I'm in alignment, I won't work with people. So, you know, feel safe that, you know, I'm not going to be sitting on the other end going, oh no, like this. It will be, I only work when I'm aligned, and which is, like I said, most of the time, and also when I'm guided to. So again, I've been guided to do this one today after like not feeling to do anything in front of the camera. It was suddenly like, okay, just get on there and say as it is, how it is right in the moment. So this is it, and I send you, like, again, a lot of love, a lot of support, and just know that you're going to be perfectly fine, and do your best to love you, because you're just perfect and wonderful wherever you are, whatever you're experiencing, and you're going to grow from it. So take care, and I'll talk to you soon.